Let me just emphasize the point you started with. Andy McCabe is a CNN contributor. He is a colleague and a friend to many of us who work here. He's here recently, but I mean, people need to, factor that into what they're hearing. This is an extremely unusual prosecution. Andy McCabe had the right to speak to reporters. That is beyond dispute. As deputy director of the FBI, he had the right to speak to reporters. He also has an impeccable record as one of the most honored and successful FBI agents of his generation. Shimon did a very admirable job of explaining what went on. It's complicated as hell. I mean, it is really difficult to understand even what the lie is here. Right. The alleged lie. The alleged lie is, well, you had the right to speak to the reporters, and you spoke to the reporters. Months later, describe what was in the conversation that you had every right to have, at a time when he's being interviewed about a different subject. You never have the right to lie to an inspector general. If he lied, it's a crime. But lying to an inspector general is very rarely prosecuted. Lying in these very esoteric circumstances where, it's about this conversation, that conversation, is rare. It looks like he's going to be indicted, but good luck to the government proving this case.
This is the issue for McCabe. McCabe says, he was the deputy director of the FBI. This is the number 2 guy at the FBI at the time. And I think if he, in his mind, he can argue, if I want to talk to reporters, I as the deputy director
should be able to do
so. The issue, I think, also for the Inspector General and just generally for the Department of Justice, and we've seen this with the Comey situation, is when you start talking about investigations, it's against regulation. It's not necessarily against the law, but it's against the guidelines of the Department of Justice to start confirming or not confirming investigations that are ongoing. And that's what we saw also in some of this, that they took issue with how he handled that.
There's another important point to this context.
Yeah.
The President of the United States has been on a crusade to disparage and insult Andrew McCabe for literally his entire presidency. He has been saying that McCabe was corrupt. McCabe's wife ran for the state Senate in Virginia as a Democrat. Before all this happened, the president has claimed some sort of bias. You'll recall that there was an Inspector General's investigation, and McCabe was fired on the last possible day when he could be denied part of his pension. I mean, there is every bit of a sign of a vindictive crusade against McCabe, and McCabe has sued in a civil lawsuit to try to get to say that his firing was unjustified. That case is pending. He may also be fighting a criminal case.
Okay.